Hey everyone, ready to write some seriously persuasive stuff?
I'm in.
We're about to unlock the secrets of copywriting that sells, diving deep into some top-notch resources from AWAI, the American Writers and Artists Institute.
Oh, nice. I'm always up for some AWAI insights. They really know their stuff.
Right. They've been the gold standard for copywriting advice for years.
You know, it's funny. We often think of copywriting as this straightforward way to convey information.
Yeah, just get the message across, right?
But the more you dig into it, the more you realize it's all about psychology, understanding how people think and what makes them tick.
It's like you're planting seeds of desire without the reader even realizing it, right?
Right.
So how do we tap into that? Where do we even begin?
With you.
Just you.
Yeah.
That's it.
It sounds simple, but this tiny word is the cornerstone of persuasive writing. It's about making that direct connection with the reader, making them feel like you're speaking directly to them and nobody else.
Okay, I can see how that would grab someone's attention, but does it really make that much of a difference?
It's huge. One of the AWAI examples that really drove this home for me was a headline about, wait for it, Dowager's Hump.
Okay, now I have to know more.
Yeah.
That doesn't exactly scream clickbait.
Right.
So how did they make it work?
But copywriter Marcella Delelis used this seemingly unappealing topic to create incredibly compelling copy. Instead of just talking about posture support and muscle strength, she focused on the emotional benefit, avoiding the embarrassment and self-consciousness of a hunched back.
So she tapped into this universal desire to feel confident, to avoid feeling self-conscious, especially as we age. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
I never would have thought of that.
And that's the power of understanding the so what behind the feature. It's not just about what the product does, it's about how it makes the reader feel.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've established a personal connection using you. We're tapping into those deep-seated desires. What's next on our quest for copywriting mastery?
We need to reel them with an irresistible headline. Think of it as the first impression, that split-second decision a reader makes to either keep scrolling or dive into your content.
It's true. You rarely get a second chance to make a first impression. So how do I make sure my headlines are irresistible?
AWAI breaks it down into this really neat formula, the 4 U's: urgency, uniqueness, usefulness, and ultra-specificity.
Let's unpack this, shall we?
It's about creating a sense of urgency. Phrases like "don't miss out" or "limited time offer" instantly make people think, I need this now.
Scarcity creates demand, a classic marketing tactic. What about uniqueness?
It's about answering the reader's silent question. Why you? Why should I choose your product or service over the hundreds of others out there?
So it's about highlighting what sets you apart from the competition.
Precisely.
Got it.
Then there's usefulness.
Okay.
Your headline needs to promise a solution to a problem, an answer to a question, or valuable information that the reader can actually use.
Right. It has to actually be useful.
It's about showing them right from the start that their time is about to be well spent.
So no clickbaity headlines that overpromise and underdeliver.
Absolutely not.
Good to know.
And finally, ultra-specificity.
Ultra-specificity. What's that all about?
It means ditching those vague generalizations and replacing them with hard-hitting numbers, data, and specific details.
This is reminding me of a headline from the AWAI material. 8 reasons you should write email copy for B2B companies.
Oh, good one.
It ticks all the boxes, it's specific, it promises value, and it piques your curiosity.
Exactly. It's a great example of how a seemingly simple headline can be carefully crafted to maximize engagement.
All right, so we've crafted an attention-grabbing headline. Now, how do we keep them hooked?
That's where the lead comes in.
Ah, the lead.
We got it.
This is where we reel them in with the first few lines, right?
Exactly. It's your chance to expand on that irresistible headline, dive a bit deeper into the what's in it for me aspect, and smoothly transition the reader into the meat of your copy. Think of it like a movie trailer, enticing, intriguing, and leaves you wanting more.
So it's about crafting those first few sentences that really hook the reader and make them want to keep reading. Are there different types of leads, just like headlines?
Absolutely. We've got our promise leads, problem solution leads, and story leads, each with its own unique way of drawing the reader in.
Okay, let's dive into those. What's the deal with promise leads?
Just like a promise headline, a promise lead starts strong by offering a specific benefit or solution.
Okay.
It's like saying, hey, I know what you're struggling with, and I've got the answer.
So it's about cutting straight to the chase and giving the reader what they want.
Precisely.
Okay, got it.
Then we have our problem solution leads. These are great for really digging into a pain point your audience feels and then positioning your product or service as the ultimate solution.
Okay, so it's about empathizing with the reader's struggles and then offering a light at the end of the tunnel. What about story leads? Those sound intriguing.
They are. Story leads are all about using a captivating anecdote, a relatable experience, or a case study to draw the reader in.
Right.
People love stories, so it's a great way to create that emotional connection right from the start.
It's like you're saying, hey, this could be you. This person was struggling just like you, and look at them now.
Exactly. And remember, no matter which type of lead you choose, the key is to make sure it flows seamlessly from your headline and sets the stage for the rest of your copy. It's all about creating a cohesive and persuasive narrative.
It's like building a house,
Oh,
right? The headline is the eye-catching front porch, the lead is the inviting entryway, and the body copy is where we really get down to business.
you've got it. And speaking of body copy, this is where the real magic of persuasion happens. It's where you present your arguments, back them up with solid evidence, and overcome any objections the reader might have.
It's where you address that little voice in the reader's head saying, wait a minute, I'm not so sure about this.
Exactly. And one of the most important things to remember about body copy is the power of proof. You can't just make claims, you need to back them up with solid evidence, facts, and figures.
Show, don't just tell.
Right.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And there are so many different types of proof you can use. Testimonials from happy customers, case studies showcasing amazing results, statistics from reputable sources.
Oh, and expert endorsements.
Yeah.
Those can be really powerful, especially if you're dealing with a more technical or specialized topic.
You're right. When someone with authority and credibility backs up your claims, it adds a whole new level of trust and persuasion.
So it's about creating that unshakable argument by showing the reader that you're not just blowing smoke, you've got the receipts to back up your claims.
And don't forget about addressing objections. Think of it like a conversation your reader might have questions or concerns, and it's your job to anticipate those and address them proactively.
It's like saying, I know what you're thinking, and here's why you don't need to worry.
Precisely. By addressing those objections head on, you build trust, credibility, and demonstrate that you understand your reader's perspective.
This is making me realize that effective copywriting is a lot like having a conversation with someone. You need to listen to their concerns, address their doubts, and then gently guide them towards the desired action.
Exactly. It's about building a relationship with the reader based on trust and understanding.
Okay, so we've hooked them with a killer headline, drawn them in with a compelling lead, built a rock-solid argument in the body copy. What's the final push to seal the deal?
The call to action. This is where you tell the reader exactly what you want them to do next.
It's that crucial moment where you transform a passive reader into an active participant, right?
You got it. It's about providing a clear path forward and making it crystal clear what action you want them to take. Do you want them to buy now, learn more, download now?
Right. It's about saying, hey, if you're ready to take that next step, here's how.
Exactly. It's like holding their hand and guiding them towards that final destination, and you never want to leave them hanging without a clear path forward.
No dead ends in the land of copywriting.
Exactly. And one of the examples from the AWI materials that really stood out to me in terms of weak proof was the statement, lots of people look for products and services using your cell phones.
Okay, that does seem pretty vague. It doesn't really tell us anything specific or convincing.
Right.
How could they improve that?
But imagine if they had said something like, recent studies show that over 80% of consumers use their smartphones to research products before making a purchase. Suddenly, it's more impactful, right?
Absolutely. It's specific, it cites a source, and it actually proves a point.
And that's the power of using strong, specific proof. It adds credibility, it strengthens your arguments, and it ultimately makes your copy more persuasive.
It's like the difference between saying, trust me, and saying, here's the evidence.
Precisely. And when it comes to crafting persuasive copy, evidence is everything.
This has been incredibly insightful. It's amazing how much strategy goes into something as seemingly simple as writing a blog post or a website copy.
And yet, when it's done well, it doesn't feel like strategy at all. It feels natural, engaging, and almost effortless.
It's like a magician. You're left wondering, how do they do that?
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Exactly. And speaking of magic, let's talk about a powerful technique that can add that extra oomph to your copy, indirection.
Indirection. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this mysterious technique.
It's about breaking up the linear flow of your copy, introducing unexpected twists and turns to keep the reader engaged and on the edge of their seats.
So instead of presenting information in a straightforward, predictable way, You're adding an element of surprise and intrigue.
Exactly. You're adding those, but wait, there's more, moments that keep them hooked. One effective way to do this is by using phrases like, but here's the thing, or, and that's not all.
It's like creating a little treasure hunt within your copy.
I like that analogy. It's about rewarding the reader for sticking with you and making the journey just as enjoyable as the destination.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to writing. I often just focus on getting the information across, but I'm realizing that there's so much more to it than that.
Absolutely. It's about thinking about the reader's experience, anticipating their needs, and crafting a compelling narrative that keeps them engaged from beginning to end.
It's about creating an emotional connection that goes beyond just conveying information. It's about inspiring, motivating, and ultimately persuading.
You've hit the nail on the head, and that's the power of effective copywriting.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to put these copywriting secrets into action. Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up this deep dive?
Remember, writing persuasive copy is a journey, not a destination. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and see what resonates best with your audience.
It's all about finding your voice, your style, and what works best for you.
Exactly. And remember, the world needs great copywriters. So keep writing, keep learning, and keep those creative juices flowing.
Great advice. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of persuasive writing. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to take your own writing to the next level.
Happy writing, everyone.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying. And remember, the most persuasive pen is the one that speaks to the heart.
Right.
Thinking back to that Dowager's Hump example, it really highlights how important it is to connect with the reader on an emotional level.
Totally.
We can get so caught up in headlines and leads and all the technical stuff
Right.
that we forget about the heart of it all, tapping into those raw human emotions.
It's true. The most effective copywriting doesn't just convey information. It tells a story, evokes emotions, and ultimately makes the reader feel something. It's about connecting on a human level.
And that's what makes it so powerful. Because when you can make someone feel something, that's when you truly have their attention. You're not just selling a product or service anymore. You're selling a feeling, an experience, a solution to a problem that resonates on a deeper level.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the psychology behind why people buy and then using that knowledge to craft copy that speaks directly to their desires, fears, and aspirations.
It's fascinating, really. Almost like you're whispering to the reader's subconscious, this is what you need and this is how it's going to make you feel.
It's subtle, yet incredibly impactful.
It really is. And it's a skill that takes practice, observation, and a deep understanding of human psychology. So for those of us who are just starting out on our copywriting journey, where do we even begin?
Well, I always recommend studying the greats. Dive into classic sales letters, analyze effective websites, really pay attention to the copy that grabs your attention. What is it about those words that make you want to keep reading, click that button, or make that purchase?
It's like reverse engineering a magic trick. You're trying to figure out the secrets behind the illusion.
Exactly. And just like any skill, practice is key. Write every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. The more you write, the more you'll develop your own voice and style.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different techniques, different approaches, and see what resonates with your audience.
Absolutely. It's all about finding what works best for you and your unique writing style.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I'm starting to see the world of copywriting in a whole new light.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about stringing words together. It's about crafting a persuasive narrative that connects with the reader on a deeper level.
And remember, the world needs great copywriters. There's a huge demand for skilled writers who can craft compelling content that drives action.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's feeling inspired to explore the world of copywriting, what resources would you recommend?
Well, AWAI is an excellent place to start. They offer a wealth of resources, courses, and training programs for aspiring copywriters.
Their website is like a gold mine of information.
It really is. And don't underestimate the power of networking. Connect with other copywriters, join online communities, and attend industry events.
Great advice.
It's a supportive community, and you can learn so much from others who are passionate about the craft.
It's about learning from the best and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to grow.
Precisely. And remember, the learning never stops. There's always something new to discover, a new technique to try, a new perspective to consider.
That's a great reminder. So, to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the art and science of persuasive writing. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to infuse your own writing with that persuasive magic.
Happy writing, everyone.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying. And remember, the most persuasive pen is the one that speaks to the heart.